from the heart of Dubai, where tomorrow is being built today, to the world. Welcome to the CTO Show with Mehmet. Here, we redefine technology and reimagine possibilities. With Mehmet, delve into the riveting realms of AI, cybersecurity, and digital technology. Experience the thrilling highs and lows of startups. Immerse yourself in the spirit of entrepreneurship and witness the future of business innovation being written in real time. Now, without further ado, let's tune in and explore the future.
Hello and welcome back to a new episode of the CTO Show with Mehmet. Today, I have a guest which is a little bit kind of a long story. So I have with me Rabeeh Abla, and fun fact, Rabeeh used to help me when I was at the university. He was one of the people who helped me actually understand the object-oriented languages, C++ at that time. Rabeeh, it's very nice to see you with me on the CTO Show. Um, and you are an entrepreneur, you are also a nerd in AI, but I will leave it to you to just introduce yourself, tell us a bit more about you, and also about CSP, and then we can take it from there.
Okay, thank you, Mehmet, for this, for hosting me. I remember in, I think, 2002, from 22 years, I think.
Yes.
Yeah, first time we met in the C++. I was the lab instructor there and helping. You were studying CCE, I remember, computer engineering back then. And I started as a computer scientist doing a lab instructor, doing working as an AI research assistant with Dr. Abbas back then. And I was in love with the technology and AI as many other people in the field. And I started my journey as a computer scientist and a research assistant. I was a research assistant in the computer-aided design and as well in AI. So we worked on many interesting things back then related to 3D surface interpolation. We were working on the Catmull-Clark algorithm that was used in the Toy Story movie to create the most smooth surface for ships, cars, and etc. And this is where we used some intelligence back then. And my journey went from university to masters in AI and focusing on bioinformatics and neural networks and all these aspects back then. And I worked for like 6 years as a solution architect for Lebanese American company before I started CSP in 2009. Which is as well focused on AI. The name is technically like Constraint Satisfaction Programming Solution, focusing on computational intelligence and AI. Yeah.
Well, it's nice and pleasure to have you, Rabeeh, here again. And you brought a lot of memories now just by mentioning, some of the stuff over there. So you mentioned a lot of fields that as computer scientists you were attracted to. And of course, we cannot being fascinated, I would say, by these technologies, but you decided to focus more on the AI part. So, like, what is special for you, at least, about AI that you decide to specialize in, and also and we're gonna talk also about what you're currently doing. So, why AI, Rabeeh?
Okay. I think it's as a scientist. For me, and I think for many who I used to work with through the lab, I was fascinated as a science on how the mind works. So before I went to computer science, I was thinking maybe to do a psychiatrist or study the mind. The study of the mind is what attracted me, and and how you can create intelligent algorithms. And this is where I focused. I remember even as a bachelor's, I used to work for free as an AI research assistant because the university doesn't allow a bachelor to work as an AI research assistant. So I used to work for 2 years for free just to learn. And it wasn't for me, it wasn't for free. It was like you're learning. So you cannot put a price on learning. And um, this fascination on, I remember my first my BS project, I wanted to create like Amazon Alexa. Yeah, that's what I was from 22 years and more. So I wanted to do that, but my professor convinced me like, no, we have to write an AI interpreter for an AI language, which is called CSP, which solves computation intelligence problem like timetabling, scheduling resources, and flights or etc. So with this love for AI, I started taking my electives in AI. So I took like advanced neural network as as an elective course with master students in BS in the bachelor, and I took back then the highest grade, and it was a course that master student used to escape. But for me, it was like I was thirsty for AI and to learn. And I remember one thing I used to whenever we take a course, let's say object oriented or AI, I used to get the books from MIT and Stanford and study what MIT and Stanford is studying. So I used to finish the curriculum that we have in the university and then study the two others. And I used to practice how to solve the problem in the fastest algorithm in the fastest time. So I was maybe some student didn't like me because I remember some classes I entered to somebody runs to the drop and add like Rabeeh Abla has entered the class. Let's go drop the course. He's gonna change the and it was my game for me. It was entertaining. Like I couldn't believe somebody will pay you money to program. It's like, oh, I know how to program more than I can talk. So it was like this kind of maybe I was affected with the 80s Bruce Lee movie, like the Bruce Lee of coding. Repeat the code uh, until you until you master it. This kind of fascination, which is still in me,
Yeah,
which
it's
is still in
obvious.
me.
It's
Yeah, it is.
I can see, in your eyes, the way you talk about it, and of course, your body language, it shows that, Rabia. But I would say, and maybe this is a bit of your passion plus it's kind of how things moved. Is
Yeah,
AI like who would be able to believe? Because I remember when I took the AI course when I was also studying university where Rabia was studying also as well, by the way. So uh, I get fascinated, but you know what? Even some of the professors, they were like kind of, yeah, it's theory more than practical, right? So, and all of a sudden, and not all of a sudden, of course, it took, as you said, 20 plus years, and AI is there since the 1950s when they did the first, gathering in Dartmouth, right? So, but for you, I think what happened later is now everyone is talking AI. All of a sudden, you are the most wanted man, Rabia, I believe,
yeah,
because your knowledge. But really, if we leave the jokes aside, so maybe my generation, and I don't like to hide ages. So we were like they teach us, something which is the basic of AI, but it's advanced. Don't get me wrong. So they teach you,
yeah,
for example, how to design a tic-tac-toe game and the algorithm behind it, also the chess. And we used to use the Lisp programming language. But here we go today, Rabi, and we are talking about LLMs and all these advanced stuff. So for you, this also shift within the AI itself. have you been surprised by, like you said, oh my God, like this is even faster than what I thought? Or because you were too much and you were telling me you were studying the books from Stanford and MIT? Or no, you said, okay, this is the natural progression actually of how AI should become. So how this between then and now, if we want to put it from your point of view?
Okay, that's a good question. So, being close to the AI market, I worked in my business in speech recognition, medical speech, facial recognition. We worked in the cognitive. I think what moved very rapidly and evolved, I can put it into two categories. First, the data science part. So I remember from 20 years, we used to call it like a neural network, and the algorithms were there. Now, data science is a fully structured major which a data scientist can work and study. It's a combination of statistical algorithm with a neural network. So I look at the data scientist working in the company, they are working at a higher layer. So when they solve the problem, they already know that there are, let's say, 50 algorithms to solve it, and their approach is more of an experimentation versus us from 20 years. We maybe did a PhD paper on like a neural network, for example, and which how many layers it should have, and we were constructing it from scratch and writing it whether in MATLAB or C or C Sharp or Java. So I remember I wrote my own neural network libraries. Now the data scientists have machine learning operation platforms. We call them the ML ops. They can benchmark or auto ML, they call it. You give it the data set and it selects the neural networks and it benchmarks them. So what took us 5 months to do is being done in 1 week. So it's all about the data, and data science got established a lot, and it's going now like we are using the auto ml and we're using the experimentation. So there's now a full field that is very mature for the last, let's say, at least 10 years. And the other part which was missing in the AI was the LLM. So the evolvement of the LLM gave the market a quick win to witness how AI can become a useful tool. So that was the surprise for all of us, because the previous approach, and we are talking about knowledge bases and knowledge graph, which were there since maybe more than 50 years, they used to take data scientists and data engineer lots of time to build the graph and to understand the domain. Now you don't need to understand the domain. You can just uh, train that LLM and it will create that links internally. And this changed the whole process. So the breakthrough that happened in LLM transformed for us the inference and the summarization. So if you look at ChatGPT, it's doing many things. So it has NLP, natural language processing and understanding, and it is doing some kind of inference, and it's doing even sometimes certain operations. So behind that big box, there is more than an LLM, and it's becoming more of a useful tool. That's the missing gap that surprised us. And when that LLM was in the market, the first thing I did in CSP, I created two AI startups from 2 years, started investing in them, because for us, that was the last piece missing for us. Because if you look at speech recognition for English, for example, it was hitting accuracy 98% for the last 10 years.
Mhm.
And in Nuance, the company Nuance bought all the engine technologies in 2008 from Philips. So they bought something called the Speech Magic. And my company was selling Speech Magic in 2013. So Nuance bought all the top speech engines, and they were performing accurately since more than 10 years. So there's nothing that new in speech recognition. there's something in you in the text to speech. So text to speech became more human-like. So I can copy your voice note with the 10-second voice. And this is as well changing the speech recognition industry. And I'll tell you how. So if I wanted to create a speech engine, for example, in English and to train it to for lawyers. I used to have to hire lawyers, take them to a studio, and have them talk maybe hours of text. Now I can clone your voice and I can generate the hours of text. So the whole game has changed. So if I wanted to create a speech engine, I used to maybe invest maybe a lot of money to make it accurate. Now I can generate realistic synthetic data and I can train that engine. So there were missing gaps in the market, like the voice cloning gap and the LLM. These last two missing pieces catalyzed the previous AI. So they made, like, if you look at for example ChatGPT, the mobile app, you're talking to it, that speech recognition is the same
Right.
algorithm from 10 years. Nothing changed. The text to speech, the human voice, this is 4 years old. The voice cloning, the realistic, the NLP is more than 15 years old. The LLM, let's say the one they have, is like 4 years breakthrough. So it's you're assembling an AI to give value, and it's all coming together like to create a human AI, human brain. That's the stage we are. And this is, I think, where even up in AI 2 or 5 years plan, the 5 years plan, they created the AI, the chatbots and copilots. Now they're targeting AGI and AI innovators, which will innovate and do discoveries. So we're going towards that path now.
I will ask you indeed about the trends, Rabia, but you are uh, triggering me to ask more and more questions, which is good,
Okay.
I believe, because we are discussing really in a nice way. So before I go and ask you, what you do with CSP for, the regional clients here, before
Sure.
I jump to this, because you mentioned something about also the evolvement of data science and all this. And I remember, one of the first things they used to teach us in data structure to do lists, right? And,
Yeah.
later on you start to, from Python perspective or like any language which is like suitable for machine learning or AI. So they try to teach you to do these graphs things you mentioned about, which is the knowledge base. Actually, you teach it how to search basically. And,
Yeah.
of course, there are many companies that pioneered and built some products on top of this. But really, I'm feeling, Rabia, like now, I mean, data scientist role also is shifting. Like it's not like, about just, getting the data and, draw these nice graphs out of it. Because honestly, I tried personally with ChatGPT and even like with the other tools as well. And I'm saying like, okay, what's left for the data scientist, or what are they going to do moving forward? If I might ask the question this way.
Yeah, that's as well a great question, not just for data scientists, but I think for programmers as well, but data scientists as well. So I think what is going to always stay is the ability, the business analyst part. So if you
Hmm.
tell me that, let's say I go back to school and study now, I tell them a business analyst will always be there as long as the humans have to interface with each other. So the analyst, he will use tools and tools will generate maybe most of his work. And we created a tool to generate most of his work. Uh, to generate the requirement specification document and the functional specification, but you need that person to sit with the client and to listen to their pain and to feed it to the AI engine. So I remember the professor I worked with, which I think you know as well. Maybe he taught you, Dr. Abbas. I think he
Yeah.
taught both of us. So he used to say, like, the future after 30 years and above is that you tell the computer what you want to do. You give a specification, and then the computer will decide how to solve it. And that was his vision in the language that he written. So how can you specify any problem? By the way, that's why the company is called CSP. Why you can specify it as constraints, variables, and their domain. And this is an AI problem, which is called CSP, constraint satisfaction problem. And this problem can be anything. So if I want to buy a new laptop, I have set of constraints. I needed 16 GB RAM, and I need a touch screen, and these are the constraints, and the domain are maybe the market that I am buying from, which could be Amazon and other players. So and the solver will take this input and will go trying to satisfy your constraints to find you the most potential possible solutions. And here there are two schools in the market in the computer science. There's a school saying, okay, you give me a complex problem. Before I solve it, let me try to break it into small solvable
Mm-hmm.
problems. And we call this reduction. It's like the human brain is thinking, because some problems are very complex to solve at polynomial time and get a real time answer. So you need to break it. So they break it first, reduce it, then they solve it. And I think we're going towards that. This is where AI is now going, and it's very interesting because we studied these algorithms, and maybe they were some companies, maybe in the USA and in Europe, and very, very maybe 2% of the world were doing this kind of thing. Now it's gonna be accessible for everybody. And back to your question, data scientists will become more of a business analyst, and they have to increase their communication skills, understand the problem, then
Mm-hmm.
feed it to the AI. And the AI, and this happened to us in a government project here. There were two models. We had four AI models. Two were built custom, and two were generated using AutoML. So an AI wrote them, and we used AI. We just my team understood the problem, created the data set, massaged and cleaned the data, and gave it to the AutoML platform, which it benchmarked more than 7 algorithms, and it did the experimentation by itself, and it gave us the result. And we saved 2 months of work. So
Wow.
that's where we are. Yeah.
Wow. Rabia, you mentioned something which I like, although, and I think this is where your strength comes in also as well. So, despite maybe if someone tuned in at the beginning of this episode, he would listen to you, you're the nerd, the guru, right? But at the same
Yeah.
time, what I liked during, the conversation, you mentioned like it's sitting with the customer and understanding. Now, let's focus more on, the business part a little bit of what you do with CSP, and with the regional clients. Now, I know like everyone, I'm sure they are running after some AI solutions, right? Everyone wants
Yeah.
to adopt AI. Uh, and I think we are kind of lucky. By the way, Rabia is also in Dubai. So both of us, we live in the same city. So we know like here at the UAE and, majority of other, GCC countries, they're trying also to get this edge, I would say, of adopting these technologies. Even now, we have a chief AI officer almost, placed everywhere. But to put things in, I would say, context and for people to understand, what are like some of the problems people are coming to you for solving when it comes to AI? So if I want to know, or like, is there any common patterns I would say you have spotted in the last, I would say, 2 3 years since the hype started, everyone to adopt AI, LLMs, and so on. So what you can tell us about that specifically with your work at CSP?
Yeah, sure. Thank you. It's a good question. So, since that hype started, and there are many common things, but the most common demand we are getting is AI copilots and
Hmm.
AI copilots on-prem. Okay. And these AI copilots, like we did a POC from a week, like a legal AI legal assessor that will assess for example, certain legal content for the government. As well, we are getting AI copilots for customer support. So the concept of the AI copilot, I think, is prime now because it can answer a question for customers on different channels, whether this is as on a website chatbot or WhatsApp, or even within the company to train the existing employees, even in a call center when somebody calls a client. So you have an AI copilot which is already trained on the customer data and is hosted internally and can answer however you talk to it or type to it. It can give you answer to help the client. So we are seeing lots of demand on AI copilots. That's one high demand. The other second demand we are getting is AI document generation, which is generating any document. So we created a system where you can host it on-prem and it can generate any document, whether this is a RFP. I tell you one example we did at CSP. So if you tell us you want to build this application and we ask you a questionnaire, and within 2 minutes after we finish asking you 7 questions, we generate an RFP that proposal for you. We generate the proposal, which used to take us 2 to 3 days to prepare. So I remember we had one client approach us this year, and we gave them 2 proposals. They gave us the request on Wednesday. We gave them 2 proposals by Friday, and like the client came to us like nobody gave him this. So we're elevating the response. We're using AI as a catalyst to allow us to deliver better quality for our clients. And this AI document generator we are using currently now for a government department to help them generate documents internally. This is the second thing we had lots of demand for. The third thing is more of like speech transcription
Mm-hmm.
and recognition and summarizing this. So we had now a POC from around a month where we're connecting a speech engine on-prem to a teleconferencing system, converting the whole conference into text, then using an LLM to summarize it. At the same time, we're using AI to know how much this person talked versus that person, and if the
Mm-hmm.
session was completely positive or negative. So we're using here sentiment analysis, and we're using an NLP to process and do this. So this part we're getting a lot. The other part as well, if I rank them, I can say everything related to LLM summarization, document generation. This is number one. Second part will be the AI model, custom AI model built by data scientists to do prediction or classification. One case we did here for Dubai is we built 4 AI models for the government, for the customs, at the Dubai Customs to classify 500 million commodity that comes to Dubai every day, which was humanly impossible to check them. So AI is checking the commodities and it checks it on 4 dimensions. It checks it. I cannot talk much.
Of course. Of course.
NDA stuff, but we are using AI where to aid the humans, and I think you let's say AI is going to a level that will be smarter than any human who ever lived, and it will work 24/7 and wherever, like as a person can do in 1 year, maybe with all these quantum CPUs, they will process it in a few days. So the danger, I think, here is how we can constrain AI and use it as a tool and not use it as our replacement. I think this is the social
Yeah.
dilemma we're entering into. Is like we have to keep it as a tool. We cannot operate it. It will outperform any human but we have to keep it as a tool to help humanity, not to replace. I think this is where the ethical part of AI, which governments have to put rules, which companies have to put rules, and I think this is coming. Now the market is not grasping what AI can do, but I think maximum by 5 years, you're gonna see maybe less. I think when AGI is gonna boom and do everything a human ever imagined, I think this is where governments will start to put rules on companies. Because imagine I can create 100 AI employees or 1,000 AI employees, and this is, I think, where once we reach that state, governments will put rules.
Yeah. Again, yeah, I don't know, like, if the time would allow us. For me, I'm free.
Yeah,
Uh,
I'm sorry.
okay, good. No, because I think this is important for the, the audience globally and locally. I would say regionally. Let's call it this way.
Yeah,
So when you mentioned these use cases and what people, so I think the reason why they want the on-premise part, it's because of privacy and security concern, right?
yeah, yes, exactly.
So this is nice. So when it comes to two things, like on average, like how long, let's say, the deployment of such project would take? Like, is it like a 1 month, 2 months usually?
Mhm. Look, usually who's asking for these projects? The AI models usually are established companies with few hundred employees who have processes. So the most time it takes us is to extract the business requirements and have all the stakeholders there. So this usually the discovery goes around a month to do all the aspects, because not all companies are prepared or prepared their
Right,
use cases. After we prepare the use cases, each AI model takes around 2 months with testing and deployment to production. And the LLMs with the platform we did at the CSP, it's like a no-code platform. Like if you're building a basic AI copilot, then we can get you in less than a month ready to the market. It all depends on your current existing processes and how you want this AI to be connected. Because some companies tell us, I need this AI to work with my existing system, and I need your system to be integrated with single sign-on with my software. So just to put a hello world there, you would stay like 2 months.
right. So usually, Rabia, let's talk about the other thing, the outcome. So how long it would take them, do you think, when they come with such projects to see the ROI? Because, you gave some examples now, and I'm sure there's plenty of projects that you have done. And I can think across not only government, I can think in any domain. I remember you told me before also about like something related to insurance and such things. When I am the CFO, the one who gonna sign you the check, like
Yeah,
when I will see my ROI, like how do you, after, of course, delivery, of course,
yeah,
we understand there is a implementation phase which might take, let's say, 3 to 6 months, whatever,
yeah.
and but then I gotta start to see my ROI. So how long it gonna take with me till I see this ROI?
Okay, and there are some kind of AI, like in the speech and LLM, which can give you a direct, a quick win. So if we are talking about LLM summarization and LLM document generation, these you can witness a quick win, like around a month, and 1 to 2 months you will see directly the impact, because they're going to save direct time for you. So let's say a month. Uh, because they are more like a utility or a catalyst. They're helping your team. For example, the AI models part, for example, the one we did for the government, it can take the government. Each client has his own different matrix, but if we're
Of
talking
course.
on average, I can say for LLM and cognitive part and facial recognition, and this it will be like starting from a month and above. But for AI models, I can put around uh, let's say maximum 3 months, 2 to 3 months, because it's integrated in a process, and most of the AI models there's a learning or a training loop. So you're feeding it and training it like a little baby. So it will become evolving in time. And for example, in the customs, if the AI catches one case, that's maybe more than half
Right.
a million dollar. So but it will take them to integrate it into their processes and start to use it a few months because of the size of the organization.
Indeed, indeed.
Yeah.
Now I want to go back to, it's something which I'm excited about. I remember I'm not a computer scientist. Yes, I studied engineering. That's true, but the AI always attracted me and fascinated me. I want to go back to something, and I want to take your, I would say, technical expertise slash business
Yeah, sure.
expertise, Rabia. Um, you mentioned about how the AI would be able, or actually it is able today, to take some complex tasks and break them down into smaller ones. And now and this is what I speculated that it's gonna happen very fast with what it's called now agents, right? So
Yeah.
Ev so the AI agents, when I saw the first trials of it, like there was Auto GPT and Baby AGI and these kinds of community projects, I said, man, like this should happen. I don't know why, but it took, I mean, almost 2 years after ChatGPT went wild, I would say, until now we started to see OpenAI speaking about it, Google with the Gemini 2.0, they are speaking about it. So what does it mean for us, Rabi? Because you mentioned about how AI will elevate us, but how much these agents can get really smart, not in doing their own task, because they need to go and report to some central
Other
thing,
agent. Yeah,
right?
other agent. Yeah.
So how smart they can become to collaborate.
Yeah, well, that's a good specific question. So the interesting thing about agents, how they work, they've been in the market for long. They're, by the way, used in by autos in the elevators. So if you
Yeah.
have like, yeah, so they will talk with each other and decide which is like if you're on 60th floor, which elevator to send you. So their concept, how they work, let's say, I think there's something coming soon to the market after the AI copilot, which is the AI worker and the AI employee. So the agents can be how it is happening now. The AI copilot is becoming an assistant. So there's an AI assistant project manager, but let's say there will be an AI project manager agent, let's say, and there will be inside the company multiple agents. One for, let's take a company like, which company? Let's take, if I put them in my own company, which is easier for me to imagine. So I have the AI project manager, I have the business analyst, I have the tester, the quality assurance, and the developers, and etc. So if how it works that you give them a task or a goal, and they will communicate with each other to see how they can reach that goal. So, what we've started to see in the market, some new startups trying to create like an agents platform where they can configure these agents for a company and have them work together to solve a common goal. So this is where you're going to see agents in business. They were solving complex problems, maybe in scheduling airplanes and train scheduling, and with elevators and other. Now they're coming to the business world, and everybody could have agents within their company, and these agents have common goals. Maybe I can tell them, for example, I can have an agent for accounting and an agent for sales, for example, and an agent for support. And the agent for support will receive a message from the client saying, please send me my account statement. Then the agent of support will talk with the agent of accounting and tell them, please issue for me the account statement for that client. And that accounting agent will communicate with the ERP, get you that statement, and will give it to the support, and the support will send it through the email channel. So this is how agents are not just basic workflow; they are smart
Exactly.
flows that will communicate to achieve a certain goal, and they are the next step. So after the AI copilots, there are the agents, AI agents, and they are all empowered by RPA. So even if you look at, for example, Microsoft AI Copilot, it has in it an ability to run a flow. And even I like to talk about CSP Brain Shift. So we did a product called it the Brain AI, and we are doing agent inside it, and that agent will run a workflow which a developer will write to achieve a certain task, because every company has a different ERP, every company uses different software. So you will put that platform in and you will give it that goal, and AI will run in parallel to your company's team to make sure that your company is delivering the quality and satisfying the compliance. And this is, I think, where all these big companies are trying to achieve now.
Uh, like it seems like we are speaking in the future, but we are not. I know, because these things are happening now. So you mentioned something, Rabia, about uh, AGI. I mean, the artificial.
Yeah.
Yeah. So everyone has a theory about it. I have a lot of guests, in the AI field, and everyone, they say something about it. But I tend, to believe like the people who are within, deep down into the tech would have a better explanation to us in a, as they say, in layman terms. So what do they mean by the AGI? Is it like the AGI? Because, and they make it scary, and every time OpenAI would have an announcement, people they start, oh, they're gonna announce, that scary thing that's gonna destroy the world. So, which we know it's not. So let's eliminate this part with you, Rabia.
Okay. So uh, okay, so the AGI, it's the humans are scary, not the not the tool. Uh, it's the human ideas, like scare, the idea to hurt or to create some damage is more scary than the tool. So I think the problem lies in the humans, and this is where
True.
governments have to control what is doing. So the AGI, which artificial general intelligence, it's going to be achieved. They're trying to create a kind of. I remember Microsoft from a few months signing with some nuclear plant to give it enough power to run all these GPUs. So they're creating like millions of GPUs and teaching them all the knowledge we ever know. And this AGI will use different kind of AI. It's not just the language model. Behind it, there is the language model with the agent, with the innovator, with the solver, with NLP, with speech to text, with everything. So it's like a comprehensive bouquet of AI, which has one goal to innovate and to predict outcomes. And with this kind of AI, this kind of AGI can maybe decode or break any encoding or any kind of encryption, because it has the hardware power and it has all the capabilities to brute force and try all the possibilities. And it's going to do something which we didn't do before, which is how can you solve something which you don't know about? So how can you innovate in an area which you don't know about? So it's as if it's gonna generate knowledge on its own. And this is the part how they will use it. So the government and in USA they're investing in it. There is Microsoft in it. There is all these big companies in it, but the question how it will be used, and you can read some kind of documents like there is I think a lawsuit between Elon Musk and they're trying not to have OpenAI go profitable, but OpenAI 51% of it is profitable, which is Microsoft. So it is already as if for me, I look at it as a more of a Microsoft company. So it's coming profitable and company. It's no longer a non-profit organization, and it's how they will use it. If they use it as a tool to empower people and through subscription, that will be good. But the danger, if that kind of intelligence will be used in war, it will be used and other things. This is where it will be like, like electricity or like the internet. Then there is the AGI. There is this intelligence, like you're plugging to all these systems, and it's brute forcing all the potential possibility. It's connected to all these GPUs and maybe some quantum chips, and it uses whatever AI it needs to do. It can reduce any problem and solve problems that were never solved before. So there will be a very good part coming from AI, and there will be some maybe politician who want to use it for personal or some war related. So I think this is where humanity, I believe, like, and it's good that you asked this question. Like maybe people like yourself, Mehmet, they need all these guys who have access to this panel create a kind of uh, community for AI where they will say this should not be allowed or this should be constrained and this should not happen. So you need the humanity and the people to come up and put the rules. Otherwise, if some business guys who don't care about morals and ethics, they will abuse AI everywhere. And of course, the probability of mistakes will happen, and the probability of all these sci-fi movies could happen. Yeah, I remember there's a philosophical book for somebody who wrote it in the 60s. He says that humanity will split into two. One will be very technological extreme, the other will try to put rules and regulations and try to contain it. So I think these maximum 10 years, we're going there. People are still not aware that we're going there, but I believe
No, no.
this time we're going there.
No, no. I always tell people the genie is out of the bottle. It's it's
Yeah,
it's
it
over.
is out.
It's over. And they asked me why. I said, okay, look. Now let's say even if someone tomorrow decides to shut down OpenAI or shut down
Yeah.
Google or shut now humans they have the knowledge that this is something that can be done. It's not something fiction that we think, oh, can a machine do this? And what also happened something magical, I would say, the spread of the open source, right? So, for example, which surprises me, Meta, which is Facebook, they have this Llama model, which they made it open source. And I tell people, hey, how are you going to stop something like this? Let's say tomorrow we close OpenAI and we close Google and which will not happen. Of course, we know this. So, but there are some people who knows this knowledge now. They know what it can be done with it. It will not take them until they can recreate the same thing because now they know that we have the know-how to do it, right? So this is my theory. You want to
Yeah,
say
it
something?
is it is right. It's funny because when we saw the breakthrough from few years, we started building these two platforms for AI, like this digital brain. which we can put in the company. We started building this, and the first thing I told the guys, these models are on Hugging Face, and we have more than 10 LLMs deployed open source, LLM Mistral and Llama 3.2 and Llama 70 billion and 40 billion and etc. So we have multiple LLMs available open source. And some governments even opened, like in UAE, we have the Falcon LLM, which is on Hugging Face. You can download it. Even if you go to this LLM Studio, you can download up to 10 small LLMs and run them on your CPU, and they can answer any question related to like a document that has 20 pages. So you can do that right now in 5-10 minutes. So what we did from 2 years, the first thing is like we started creating our own AI, so that we thought like if there will be constraint on AI, as a company, we have all the AI that we need. And we're not the only company who's thinking that way. There are maybe millions of people who've done that way. So I think the genie is, I believe and know the genie is outside the bottle, and there is no more you can constrain it. The only constraint will come from governments, and they will put rules on how much you can use AI. But this will happen little by little. I don't see it happening now. Now it's like the discovery, exploration, automation. So this will happen in the next 3 to 5 years.
Absolutely. And I always tell people, guys, like this is not a joke. Like you need to really to wake up now. Because if you think you're gonna still be doing what you're doing today, my expectation, I'm not talking about AGI, I'm talking about, the way we're gonna work even. If you're not
Yeah,
prepared now, after I'm giving it like maximum 5 years, things are not the same as we are seeing it today because we are on this extra charged turbo mode now, which is taking us, this very, sharp peak going up. No one can stop it, and it's been proven by the day. And this is why, I'm not surprised by any breakthrough that's happening because the just the fact that now you can do this transformation. And thank you, Rabia, because by the way, no one at the show did this when we spoke about ChatGPT and the similar tools. So of course we talked about the transformer paper, which funny enough it was written by people who were working at Google at that time.
yeah,
So but we never, no one also highlighted that this is not just this. It's not like just that technology. It's like NLP. It's like
even
all,
solvers inside
yeah, a lot
and
of things.
agents.
All the things that we used to see in the AI 101, I would say,
Yeah,
book, it's like it's together and add to it. And some people they don't. And thank you for mentioning the RPA, by the way,
yeah,
because people they don't know how much automation there's in the background, and they tell them, guess what? You can also automate yourself. Like if you go and you try to
yeah,
utilize an RPA or even a no code, one of the no code automation tools in the market, like Zapier or Make.com,
yeah,
you are missing a lot. And now, last year, really, really, I get tired of telling people. I know some of them, they are saying, no, 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 this will not benefit us, but really, sooner or later, this is going to change. Um, let's see what the future. So final thing, Rabia, like other than the AGI, what else is now exciting you, whether it's something related to the company, something related to the technology, like what's the next big thing in your opinion? Is it the new Willow chip from Google, for example? I don't know.
So look, like quantum is changing the whole computational time. So this will, there are many things good coming, and like I have my sister's child who's studying now in American university, and I told her do bioinformatics, and there will be lots of what Tesla is doing this kind of hardware that will help people to see better or to touch, or even they're inventing synthetic smell. So there is machines now and sensors that can trigger smell, even if you don't have these things. So that will be the future, but everything should be constrained to preserve humanity. We do not want to be lost in AI. The next big thing is coming in the healthcare, and the other big things. I know it's the age of the LLM. The other part is the agent and the solvers. So the solvers, which funny were used in the World War II by Alan Turing, who created the Turing machine and all the theory of computation. So, the algorithm that he did was the, we call it the depth first search, which was basically taking all possibilities and trying to solve, and it operates on a concept of a search possibilities and something called a heuristic. And it's funny that we do this every day, so without knowing. So your heuristic is your knowledge. Let's say you have a heuristic to go to the weekend or the holidays and enjoy your time, so that's your heuristic. And your search space is maybe these whatever available on the internet. So heuristic determines everything. It's even in your career. Your heuristic determines where you will reach. So each person is like a human solver. So that the next part, which is emerging now we can get these AI solvers that have been invented, and this will be the last brain of the robot. So now, because of robotics is emerging, the AI solver, which is technically the brain, will start to operate. Because if you look at the brain, okay, you have the vision, which we call this biometric or facial recognition, and you have the inference, the LLM, with the knowledge base, what you train. But the solver is what makes you think and search, and will guide your search. And this is what will guide, I believe, the innovator, AI innovator component for open AI. And this is what will guide, will make a thinking machine that will think by itself. So I think we're there, and the components are just getting assembled, and the sooner than people will know, they're just gonna see it there and see what's happening. We at CSP we're working on that, and we believe we're 2 years far only maximum. So imagine open AI with God knows how many more than $10 billion of research with all the brains. So and they estimated by next year. So I think maximum a year and a half they will hit it. So that's what's the next big thing will be agents and solvers and AI employees. So these will be used to create AI employees, and there will be AI employees within the workforce. So the AI copilot came as a copilot to help you. It will mature, but the next step is an AI employee. And we experimented at CSP in an AI assistant project manager, which listens to meetings and then takes the action points and then sets these tasks for the team. And then the project manager can review what that assistant did. And it will even estimates how much each task will take based on historic data that we taught it. So it knows if it is building a web application, a form usually takes a day and a half, and so it knows how to estimate the tasks for the employees. And this we did a POC from 6 months. So and we are not the only company in the world doing this. So this is coming. So I think this is coming, and we started to see it even in Microsoft's new update. of the AI copilot. So we started to see them going towards that thing. And this is what we're doing, but we're doing it for on-prem and cloud. So for companies who want to protect their data and not have it on a server somewhere. So you can have, our idea is that each company's asset is the knowledge base and its processes. And once you have this system in place, this becomes your system, which allows you to grow. So that's the next big thing coming.
That's great, Rabia. I want to make here some takeaways for people who still, uh, I would say, underestimate the power of AI. And I'm talking here to whether you are listening to us, you are in a position of a decision maker, or you are even maybe a technical guy, or even anyone. So, with what Rabia mentioned now and all of the discussion we started from the beginning. So, first, if your company is really not adopting AI, so you have a problem because someone is outperforming you by minimum, I would say, 10 to 20 times, right? So, this is
Yeah.
whether you are from sales perspective, maybe it's revenue perspective, maybe avoiding risks and avoiding loss, because this is what all technology is about. So it may either make something faster, cheaper, or it get you more revenue, or it avoid you some risk. Too much. Second, this is for like the people in the workforce, accepted or not, like AI is coming, but not to replace you, to elevate you. So you need to learn how to use these AI tools, because otherwise, to your point about the AI employee, so we need to learn, I think, how to have an AI colleague, whether in office or in the, remote workspace. And the most important one, which I take away, Rabia, from you today, is look at, where the technology is heading, and don't ever underestimate something and say no, it's just a trend, a bubble and gonna burst. Because what we have seen in the past couple of years especially, we know, and this giant leap that happened, so you cannot ignore. Because now, regardless of the philosophical aspect, I would say, of the AGI, and how should be controlled or not, but I am seeing this is, it's a destiny, not a choice for humanity to assume that AGI is here, and in a sense, not of the consciousness and it's gonna go and kill humans. No, in the sense of it will be a source of knowledge generating force. Let's call it this way, and it's very, very valuable, Rabia. Before we close, Rabia, where people can get in touch and learn more about your work and about CSP?
Okay. So we are available. You can go to CSP solutions.com. You can get in touch with us, and we'll be happy to show you the use cases and how we can help you. And we have many interesting demos we can show and do POCs. So cspsolutions.com, and we're happy to help. Our slogan, by the way, is optimization within your reach, because we believe in optimization since 2009, since the inception. So I think now it's the age of CSP now. Now we believe it. It came to pass. It came. Nah.
Indeed, it's there. So, Rabia, so for the audience first, the website, will be in the show notes, so you don't have to go search it. I will make your life easy, and you can find it in the show notes. Rabia, really, I biased by knowing each others and friends for a long time, but I think this is one of the rare episodes that we touch on AI, that I think it has a lot of insights and a lot of takeaways, I would say. And we are not just as we say, in our mother language, like, it's not we are giving theories to people, we are giving them actionable
Yeah,
items. So we were not also talking about something which is science fiction. It's something that is here and something that's gonna stay. So Rabia, really, again, thank you very, very much for. And I know
thank
how
you.
busy, especially it's year end now. So
Thank you for
appreciate the
hosting
time.
me.
Oh, my
Thank
pleasure.
you. Pleasure.
This is for the audience. If you just discovered this podcast by luck, thank you for passing by. If you like it, subscribe, give us a thumb up, and share it with your one of the people who keeps coming again and again. Thank you for doing so. I really appreciate it. Send me your feedbacks and comments. And I would appreciate also anything that you want me to add, remove from the podcast. Thank you very much for tuning in. We'll meet again very soon. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Hit that subscribe button, share the show with your tech-savvy friends and fellow entrepreneurs, and leave us a review on your favorite podcast app. Your support means the world to us.